Right, buddy, we're back. Manchester United versus Burnley. 5 things to expect. It's a big, big game for Manchester United. We're only 3 games into the Premier League season, and it doesn't, or 2 games in. This is our third game against Burnley. And listen, it's the biggest game. We've seen all the talk ahead of the game about Ruben Amorim potentially leaving. He said he's obviously committed to Manchester United and wants to stay. For a while, he said like all of the stuff post Grimsby was just him in the heat of the moment, sort of reactionary thing. He said he needs time to kind of when we do have big losses or big poor performances like that, he needs time by himself, which again is understandable. He is committed to Manchester United, and I think he will stay at the club. But in terms of these 5 things to expect, let's get into it. Number one, the United team. I mean, a lot of changes from the team that we saw against Grimsby. I think that was probably a lot of changes needed. I think a few players did well, if we're being honest, kind of looking at the game. And you need to bring some players back in. But in terms of the goalkeeper, this is probably the easiest one. You cannot start Binder. You can't start Onana. I mean, his performance was shocking. He gave them 2 goals, so it's going to be Binder and goal. Listen, I would go with Tom Heaton. I've said that for a while, but it doesn't seem like Amorim's going to go for that. I think he will keep Binder in goal. Back 3, I think you revert back to Shaw, Maguire and Yoro. Yoro was kept out against Grimsby. You've obviously got Shaw and you've got De Ligt to come back in. So that would be some rotated defences there from... Listen, I thought we were pretty poor defensively against Grimsby. But again, Burnley are physical. They've got fast wingers, so they can cause us problems. Wing backs, Ahmad and Dorgu. Dorgu did play against obviously Grimsby. He came off in the 46th minute. But yeah, I think he will start this game. Obviously, Ahmad on the right. 2 in midfield. I think it'd be Ugarte and Bruno. 2 number 10s, Cunha and Burmo, and Sasko through the middle now. That would be the team that I'd go with. I think, again, a few changes there defensively and in midfield. Players like Delo coming out, Heaven, Maguire, Fredrickson, Onana coming out, Mainu coming out. So there will be quite a few changes there as well. And we could see Casemiro come in as well. But that would be the team I'd go for in the game. Now, the second thing, United's threat. I mean, considering from what we've seen against Grimsby in our last game, we didn't look like we really had a threat. I thought Mbemo did well. I mean, he scored a goal. But again, obviously, in terms of the game, did kind of struggle. I think we just have to use our width against Burnley. They're going to be a team, physical in midfield, dominant in the air. They've got very, very fast wingers, and we need to try and push them back with our wing backs. And I think that's something that United need to do. So I think the threat in this game, if I was to identify one, it would be down the wings with Dorgu and Dallo, or Dorgu and Ahmad, sorry. They would be the area that I pinpoint. Now let's talk Burnley. I mean, in terms of their start to the season, they got beaten very heavily against Spurs 3-0. They didn't look good in that game, but then they beat Sunderland at home. The way that Burnley plays, they like to sit back, defend, nick a goal, and defend for their lives. And I think that would be a huge concern if Burnley were to score first against Manchester United, which again is very, very likely with the way that we've been playing. But if they are to score first and sit back, it's going to be a very difficult afternoon for Manchester United. So we need to make sure that we don't concede. Burnley have got very good wingers, Jadon Anthony. I think Marcus Edwards on their right hand side. They've got Ugochukwu in midfield, who's a very, very physical and dominant midfielder. So they have got a decent side. Obviously, they've lost their goalkeeper in Trafford, but again, they still have an overall very, very good team. Again, they have a better. I think they've had more time together, obviously, but so many of them. I mean, Scott Parker side are typically very difficult to play against. In terms of where they are in the league, it doesn't really matter. We're only 3 games in, but they are obviously higher than Manchester United in 11th place. Again, ideally, you want to see a reaction from Manchester United, so that leads me on to the 4th thing. We need to see a reaction. I mean, so much went into that Grimsby game. Hopefully, we can turn it. We've got a -1 goal difference in the Premier League. We've got 1 point from a possible 6. Like, we need a win, we need a reaction, and ultimately I want to see some goals. I think Manchester United, again, being at home, Sesko, Cunha and Burmo, it'll be their first time hopefully starting together. You get the wing backs, got to go for it. Like, we've got to forget, ultimately Grimsby were one of our worst performances in a while. But you have to kind of forget about that and move on to the next game. We need 3 points in this game, and losing is unthinkable. Now we have to go in for it, go in for the game, back the team, and I think it can be, United can get a win out of this. Again, it's going to be very difficult because Burnley are a decent side. They play good football, they can score goals, they're physical. If you look at the head-to-head, last time we played them was 1-1 in the league, so again, you could potentially we could get a result here. But yeah, I'm hopeful that Manchester United get a win. I think it can't get any worse than what we've seen against Grimsby. I think there's only up from here, and Ruben Amorim has to get this team going. The reaction has to be there. We've seen one of our, as I said, our worst performances in probably ever. I mean, losing to a 4th division team in the way that we did, it wasn't like they nicked a fluky goal. Like, they played United off the park, and again, it was a big concern. But in terms of Burnley, they know, Amorim said this, they know Burnley are gonna target that because they know we're in a weak point. They know we kind of have to go for it. And yeah, it's going to be a big sort of game for them, as well as being for Manchester United. But let's see what does happen. In terms of the 5th and final thing, the result, I've kind of touched on it there. I'm going to predict a draw. I'm going to go with 1-1. As I said, I know we need to win the game, and it's one of our most important games. I think we need to win this game for the confidence of the players, for Ruben Amorim. We need points in the Premier League. And we need to show reaction, we need to show that fight. And again, we need the points more than anything. So let's see what does happen. Manchester United vs Burnley, we'll obviously be here after the game talking about it. But again, I just don't want to see an embarrassing defeat, really. I want to see Manchester United go out and get a win. But I think it will be a draw. But that's been the 5 things. My team, go through it quickly. I would make quite a few changes from the game against Grimsby. Binder in goal. Back 3 of Shaw, De Ligt and Yoro. Ahmad and Dorgu. Ugarte, Bruno, Cunha and Bermo Sesko. Again, and then you have players come off the bench. Again, you could see Xerxes start. I don't think Hoyland will start. His look like his move to Napoli is getting closer. But yeah, let's see what does happen. But they have been the 5 things to expect. Let's see what happens.